How do you heal fractures in a family that seem too big to heal? Arcane gets therapized. Mended light. Okay, listen, Arcane is awesome, and it's very layered and very dense, and I'm not going to take all the time to explain the mythology or the characters here and now. If you haven't watched the series, watch the series. However, if you're just along for the ride, here's the gist. Two young girls, the daughters of revolutionaries who are fighting for a better world in a city beneath a city. Their parents die, and they're raised by a man named Vander. Vander dies in a tragic accident, and one girl, Vi, blames the other, Powder, and the family is fractured, seemingly beyond repair. In part because of all the loss and also being separated from her sister, and because of who she's raised by after this, Powder becomes Jinx. And she is traumatized and mentally fractured and homicidal. And because of her actions, Vi doesn't feel like her sister Powder is there anymore. It's just Jinx, and there's no way to reconcile. And Vi and her girlfriend go to put Jinx down for good because of the threat that she poses. And they don't know that Jinx has adopted a street urchin and is taking care of her. And that's where we are right now. So there's Jinx kicking by, kneeing Vi. Vi punching Jinx. It's a big epic battle. Man, the animation is cool in this show. So that's Vi's girlfriend taking a shot. Ouch. And here's a street urchin.
She's a child! Move! She's not getting away again! Kate. Move! Kate!
So when Vi defies Kate to protect the street urchin, but also because this is edited down enough, she's got a moment where she can take Jinx out. She can kill her sister and save a lot of lives, and she can't do it. And this level of mercy and compassion, along with this relationship that she has with the street urchin, Jinx turns it around. She still feels broken, she still feels damaged, but she's no longer convinced that violence is the path for her or that it's going to solve anything. And Jinx abandons her Jinx persona to become Powder, to try and become who she was. And she's trying to help when this monster is unleashed and kills a lot of people, and this is what happens.
Smile!
Dang, this thing is scary. Warwick is the creature's name. So what's going on here? Why is this beast hesitating? The change in eye color is so cool. So yep, you guessed it, their adoptive father, Vander, still alive. He's been experimented on, turned into a horrific monster. To Powder, formerly Jinx, this represents some hope that they can have some sort of family. There's been a lot of bridges burned, a lot of pain, a lot of death, a lot of terrible things that have happened. Vi still loves Powder. Powder still loves Vi, and now here's their father, their adoptive father, supposedly back from the grave, kind of unrecognizable. We see in a flashback how it is that he came to be entrusted with the care of these girls. And what happens when they all realize who's who.
I don't know anything about kids. I get sweat.
So this is the girl's mother, flashback, and that's Vander right there.
Great mother.
Shut up. I'm not ready for that.
Silco.
I started trying to come up with a name, and it hits me that this one word is a decision she's gonna live with her whole life. I can't protect her from all down here and work out how to be a parent at the same time. Then I realized I don't have to.
Oh, what's that?
Because the second I told you, I put you on the hook. You two are gonna figure this Zahn thing out. I don't care if you have to carve it out of the bedrock covered in blisters. You're not allowed to fail anymore. For her.
In other words, these three have been working with others, including, the father of the girls, to make a better world in this underworld beneath the city. There's a lot of crime, there's a lot of poverty. They've been working to make it better, and now she's saying, I can't be a mother and figure all this out, so I'm leaving it in your hands.
For me.
What's the point if we cannot raise an ankle biter or two?
To Zahn, then.
Zahn is,
And bedrock.
Blisters and bedrock.
the undercity where they live.
I've always liked the name Violet.
So after she dies, he and Silco take turns raising the girls. It's a long story. Silco's the other guy at the bar. Powder / Jinx. I'm now Powder because she's left Jinx behind, but she's trying to show Vi our dad is still alive. And this show is so cool and so densely layered. The mythology and the storytelling and the characterization, but really what drives it home even more than the cool animation and the killer soundtrack and the awesome action scenes are these really human moments that are so relatable. Here's this monster, and there's Vi hugging him.
What are you waiting for? He's your dad, too.
What this represents to me as a family therapist is just how many, get her in there as well, is how often the wounds seem insurmountable, the hurts, the betrayals, or the hard words. And look, I get it. Sometimes to protect ourselves, we need to cut ties. I'm not saying otherwise. But I'm a family therapist for a reason. And in so many cases, this shared history, this shared foundation, right? That's what they're calling back on. There was a time when we were a family. We had a mother and a father who loved us, and then they died, and Vander stepped in and raised us. And then he died, and then from that moment, everything's just spiraled out of control. And I do this all the time with couples or with families. I ask them to tell me their origin story. Where did you start? When was it good? What are we fighting for here? I understand things have gotten really bad, but what do we want to return to? What do we want to restore and build off of? And I love to hear these stories because people who have been like this for a long time, the walls come down and there's this vulnerability, this beautiful sense of longing and connection, and we still want it. And if you've seen the series, this moment seems pretty miraculous because Vi and Powder, it's like these two are never gonna reconcile. They're never gonna be sisters again. Too many terrible things have happened, but they've got this shared foundation and they're willing to move forward. So when Vi says, what are you waiting for? He's your dad too. I think that's wonderful and that's beautiful. And the only reason this has happened, it takes accountability and change in order for trust to be restored. But with accountability and change comes the decision to trust and the decision to forgive.
Jinx?
What are you doing?
I swiped these from the guard station. If you come, help use all that explosive potential of yours for good, maybe we could rewrite your story like you did with Zahn. What do you think?
Sure, Vi.
Her long blue hair is so cool.
You're never gonna give up on me, are you?
Hey! You don't have to worry about me anymore. You don't need to feel guilty about being happy. You deserve to be with her. Wait! There's no good version of me. What are you gonna do? Break the cycle. Jinx!
I think that's one of the most heartbreaking lines. There is no good version of me. We'll see in another video that's coming that that's not true. But Jinx believes Powder's gone. The good version of me is gone. There's no good version of me. And when she says, you're never gonna give up on me, then she's like, then I need to go. Because you, my sister, deserve a happy life when you're not just worried about me. This is so human, and unfortunately, it's the line of thought of a lot of people who entertain checking out and, trigger warning, but unaliving themselves as well. You'd be better off without me because you could be happy. You could just have your life without worrying about me. And to some, it's a comforting thought, but I've seen time and time again. It's not the case, because Vi would rather have the worry than lose her sister. Yes, she's concerned for Jinx. Yes, it takes a lot of work to maintain a relationship with her. Yes, it takes forgiveness, and yes, there's healing to do. But she would rather do all of that than be without her sister. If you're somebody who's thinking the people I love would be better off without me, only on the surface you can say without me, they wouldn't have to worry about this, or this. But what's the trade-off? The trade-off is they choose to worry because they want you in their life. They would much rather worry and work than lose you. And we see in this other video where I'm going to talk about Jinx and Echo, that there is a good version of Jinx, and that version is just her, and all of her messiness and all of her mistakes, trying to be better. You're going to need to watch that video or watch the series to get the character arc to where we are now, where Jinx wants to live, and she wants to be Powder, and she wants to be her sister's sister and live this life. But then happens. Spoiler alert, by the way.
Vi! Vi! Hurry, you can make the other ledge!
But I'd have to leave Dad here. Leave Dad here.
Vi!
So again, he's part beast, part him.
Vi?
Not willing
Save him!
to lose him again. That was the first time. Woof! That's a hell of a jump scare. I'm going to call her Jinx for convenience, but she's Powder as well.
Always with you, sis.
That had a conversation earlier about wherever they go, like they'll always be in each other's hearts type thing. And what's beautiful here is Jinx at this point in the story actually doesn't want to die, and she doesn't want to, she's accepted, I don't need to leave for Vi to be happy, we can be happy together. So this isn't an act of, well, I want to die, so this is the perfect way. She actually wants to live, and that's what makes this even more meaningful.
Lay my head down and rest. If there was nothing to fight or protect.
Yeah, I will always be a sucker for, as someone makes a heroic sacrifice, we flash back to meaningful moments. It's the most powerful of montages. what I think is so awesome about this is Jinx has been fueled by hate for a long time. And what softened her heart was her sister's willingness to forgive her, to give her a chance to build trust. It's the street urchin that she took under her wing that she says at a certain point, you know, Powder was gone, but you remind me of her. In other words, you remind me of me when I was young, before my trauma. And she decides to become who she always was. You know, reunited with her father reminds her of who she was. Whatever's going on in your family, and maybe you never had it safe. Maybe it was never good. Maybe there's not anything to call to. And in that case, you have to create it from whole cloth. Who do you want to be? What do you want your family to look like? And you can only model that and live that and see who joins you there. But in her case, there was something to return to. Now, I don't know if she lives or dies. People who are League of Legends fans can, tell me or not, because I'm going to keep watching Arcane as it comes out. This is kind of where we leave off in season 2. But if she does die, she dies ready and prepared to face it because she's embraced who she was. There's peace there. For a lot of us, there was a time when you believed in loving connection and you believed in living in peace. And sometimes it feels like life's just beating it out of you. And maybe you can't have it with your family because they're not willing to meet you there. The only reason this works is because Vander and Vi and Jinx are all willing to make restitution and to believe in each other and to change and to grow. You may have a situation where your family members aren't willing to do that, but you can create a new family with people who are. And in cases where family members are willing to move on, are willing to do the work, I have seen hundreds, even thousands of cases where people create something new and beautiful, where it feels like they never could again. And that to me is what I'm reminded of when I see this story. So look, to that end, this is what Mended Light is for. It's for healing families, it's for helping individuals through their trauma. We have different services. We've got a membership site with live Q&As and podcasts and online video courses that is a very cost-effective way to get the tools and the information for healing from trauma and building close relationships. We also offer counseling services with trained professionals. So if any of this is speaking to you and you feel like you want to give us a try, click on the link in the description. It's also going to show up here on screen. To schedule a complimentary 15-minute consultation with a member of our team to see what Mended Light service might be a fit for you. What do you think of these character arcs? Are there important details that you feel like I missed? Or are you in agreement with me? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have had a situation of family healing, what got you there? Let me know again in the comments below. Until next time, folks, keep shining. We need your light.